Mike, turn your games down.
Hi, we're going to another movie episode of Games My Mom Found. I am Mike Helberton, and who is getting a little sleepy with me tonight?
I'm Tiffany Alberton. Yep, that's all I got.
Hello, everyone. I am Kenneth Sanity. End transmission.
I am Joe Butler, and wait a minute, I'm in the wrong movie. This isn't The Lost Plagas.
I'm Zach from Absolutely the Best Podcast, Work in Progress, and after rewatching this movie with and without director commentary, the 1956 original, the 1993 remake, and rereading the book, I gotta say, I'm not opposed to a pod person world. It seems like a pretty good idea. They got it all worked out.
Right? They kind of do.
And last but certainly not least, I'm Robbie Sherman from Conversations with Robbie Sherman. Pleasure to be here, everyone.
Welcome back, everybody. And we're doing a Patreon voted poll. We are here to talk about Invasion of the Body Snatchers, the 1978 version, directed by Philip Kaufman, and came out, 1978. Because this movie has, 4 different versions?
I have never seen.
4.
I saw the original.
Plus the other movies inspired by it.
Is there a movie called Pod People?
There's one called
Invasion, for sure.
I think it's called Invasion of the Pod People. It's something with pod people in the title, but it's a.
It's different though, isn't it?
It came out the same time that The Invasion did in 2007 as a way to capitalize on the advertising from that movie. And that's one I haven't actually seen, but it's more like a mockery of this kind of movie.
Oh, it's like a parody?
Yes, that's the right word for it.
I think the pods look like pea pods, if I remember correctly.
Okay.
You saw it?
Oh my god, forever, ever ago, so don't even ask me. But I briefly remembered that.
Did you see that on cable?
Probably.
I'm sure. What year is it? Was it 78? I wasn't even born
No, not
yet.
this one.
Oh.
You're talking about the pod people thing that you mentioned.
Yeah, that was, 78?
No,
No?
that's in the 2000s.
The pod people?
Yeah, the one that he was mentioning with the pea pods.
Oh,
Yeah.
no. I'm thinking of a different one.
Hey, with this movie, you can, because
Oh,
there are
You.
so many different versions.
Yeah.
But the reason why we're doing this is because in honor of Donald Sutherland passing away a couple months ago, I want to do a poll. And this was the movie people voted for to
You're
hear us talk
welcome.
about. I'm glad. I am really glad that you suggested this because I enjoyed this. So I'll get that right out of the way. I actually enjoyed this movie.
Most of it.
I enjoyed all of it.
Okay.
This is a good horror movie.
Agreed.
Scream a couple of times.
Yeah. That's fine. If I would have been high like Joe, I probably would have been a lot louder.
I don't know if I've ever seen him do that in a movie. Like, literally,
Yeah. I did not enjoy seeing a dog with a human face. Not at all.
I was just staring at it like, what the fuck is that?
That's what I was thinking too.
That's fine.
Mira.
you know there was someone behind the scenes that was like, hey guys, what if we put a human mask on this dog face?
Oh my god. Okay, let me tell you. I had seen this years ago, one time, probably on cable, and I knew the dog was popping up somewhere. So when it popped up, it didn't frighten me at all. In fact, it made me laugh harder than anything else I've laughed at in weeks. Just the way it's grafted on there, it just looks so obviously fake. And I could see how there's an uncanny valley to it, but at the same time, it's just so funny to me now. I can't not think of it as being funny.
And there's the banjo playing suddenly at that point. I feel like that kind of hurts the scariness of it.
I disagree. Everything with it, just the fact that it's just there,
Yeah.
just freaked the shit out of me because it's the last thing I'm expecting.
That's why.
It's my top 3 favorite dog moments. It's this dog moment, the dog from The Thing where it's all jiggly because it's being, and then it's not in the film, but we almost got it in Alien 3, the sequel to Alien, but not Aliens. They were going to have a xenomorph dressed up, or a dog dressed up as a xenomorph, but
Yes.
they had to cut it, and I wish we got it because that'd be the funniest fucking thing ever.
You can see it in, not the real thing, but not the finished thing, but you can see like that in the behind the scenes of Alien 3.
That's cool. Let's go buy that.
No, it's not. The movie's
I
terrible.
want to see the dog.
Oh, I like it. I like it. It's
And
pretty-
Ken, what is the plot of this movie?
Well, sorry, I had some mute button problems there for a second. So here's a nice little plot rundown for you. You think you know someone, yet Health Inspector Matthew Bennell notices something seems a little bit off with some of the people around him, and his suspicions are confirmed by his friends. Now seemingly in a race against time and an inexhaustible threat, how long can they survive when their closest allies might be the greatest danger?
That was great.
They're always good when
They
he does them.
are. You just need to write summaries for movies. Yours would be so much better.
I don't know about y'all, but when I saw that dog with the face, all I could think of was, I think you should leave. The Darmine Doggy Door skit.
I have not seen that yet.
Oh, yes.
I have not seen
Took
that.
a minute there.
You're like, that's going to kill me. That's real. That lives with us on Earth. And I lost it this time around.
And I always like to start these with our history with the movie. I've never seen the movie before, didn't know anything about this movie, actually, and didn't have it spoiled for me. I didn't know the ending or anything. I knew the meme that I've seen, but I didn't realize, what that meant. Even watching this movie wasn't until the very end when, oh, there's that meme. So, that's my history with this movie.
Nice.
Tiffany.
Oh, my turn. I watched it probably 20 more years ago. I remember all the way up till they find Jeff Goldblum's doppelganger, and then I remember nothing after that.
Because the channel got changed. That's my guess. Bill said, I already seen this movie 4 times. I'm going to change it to something else now.
Or my mom came in and was like, what is she watching?
That's fair, too.
Why is there a dog? A human on a dog.
And Ken.
I probably saw this as usual when I was far too young to be watching this.
Mm-hmm.
It seems to be a pretty standard pattern in my life, I've noticed. But
me too.
Did you have sci-fi growing up, Ken?
I was before sci-fi.
Oh.
Oh, he said, oh.
Did you have HBO as a kid? Is that what it is?
There was HBO as a kid, but my dad just rented a lot of movies.
Oh, okay.
And they weren't always great about policing what I should watch.
You came out fine.
Fine enough.
I know.
Yeah, that's all I give myself to.
And Joe.
I've never seen this except for 3 months ago, but I was way more stoned and not paying attention. I was in a group online watching it, but I had I didn't really care because I caught it through the halfway point. So I was I'm just looking back to the game I was playing and pretend to react to this. So I super wasn't paying attention. But pay attention now. I do love that. I love watching older movies and going, oh, that's where that stole that from. Because this is pretty much just Resident Evil 4, which is the joke to my opening. Yeah. It's just how I want to say a month ago, I watched Event Horizon, and the whole time I'm looking at my husband, I'm like, oh, this is just Dead Space. And he's like, yeah. And then funny enough, he's also suffered from that because we also watched Escape from New York. And he looked at me, he went, motherfucker, is this just Metal Gear Solid? And I'm like, yeah, do you not know that? And he's like, no. I go, yeah, he's Snake Plissken. So,
yeah. Zach.
I'm starting to think that Ken and I are the same person. I also watched a lot of horror movies when I was way too young. My dad loved this movie, and he let me watch it when I was a little kid. And I've been a fan ever since. I mean, I've seen it dozens of times. It had been quite a while since I had seen it, and I had actually forgotten a few moments in it. But this is a classic for me.
And Rob.
Yeah, like I said earlier, I had seen this one time when I was a teenager at some point. And I think when I saw it then, I was like, well, this is well made, but I'm just not interested in this narrative. This is something that's been done in a whole lot of things. I think I'd probably been introduced to the concept through other pop culture by this point, because it's such an ubiquitous concept in pop culture history. But now that I've gotten to watch it a couple of other times, I really like this. This is good. This has a lot of good character, and it does a lot with very little, and that's that can make for really good sci-fi if you have the right people doing it. And this has an incredible team doing very practical effects and a lot of just people around that creates paranoia. Yeah, it's very effective.
The cast in this movie is phenomenal. I did not know Leonard Nimoy was in this movie until you told me, Tiff.
Or Jeff Goldblum.
Or Jeff Goldblum. God, it's a young Jeff Goldblum.
Oh my God, he's such a baby.
As a baby face
Uh-huh.
Jeff Goldblum.
Wow, it is wild, but it is still very recognizably Jeff Goldblum. There's nobody you could mistake him for.
No, especially his voice.
He's still doing the same routine that he's known for, over the next few years.
Right.
Now, we didn't
Is
talk
that when
about
it
this
started?
during the Dark City episode, but is it possible that Kiefer Sutherland in Dark City was just doing a Jeff Goldblum impression?
Trying, maybe.
This is better.
Trying and failing.
Yeah.
Yes.
The kittens I would kill to smother my face into Jeff Goldblum's chest. Terrifyingly high number. Almost infinite, you could say.
Donald Sutherland looks so different in this movie than what I'm used to, because I'm used to his work later in the 90s and 2000s. I have never seen any of his early movies.
Yeah, that's weird, Mike.
This is like Donald Sutherland Animal House era.
I've never seen Animal House. I
What?
don't want to either, by the way.
No, we need to fix some of these.
No, I agree. I'm trying to, this podcast has gotten me to watch classics I never would have watched before. And even later in Spooktober coming up here, I'm watching some classics I've never seen before.
You've never seen Childhood?
No, I've seen half of it.
I can't remember why you.
Then I went to bed. So, yeah, because thanks to patrons, I'm watching their movie, and thanks to you guys suggesting it, another movie that was just never thought about. Like, I didn't even know this movie really existed. Like, I knew there were Invasion of the Body Snatchers. I did not realize there were 4 of them.
Well, also, I feel like the title "Invasion of the Body Snatchers" that kind of hurts the reputation. It sounds corny and
Yes.
like it's an old movie because I mean it's a remake of an old movie, right?
Yeah.
Um,
And
But
it's a movie based on a book.
What?
Yeah.
Yeah, originally a book, then they made the first movie, then they made more movies.
what was I say? Is that also that title kind of lowers the bar for you because you're like Invasion of the Body Snatchers? What's that? That's got to be super cheesy, and it's awesome.
It's really hip for like an update on this concept. Like it has a lot going on in between the major emotional storytelling points. Like it has a lot of detail. Like when they're cutting stuff out of newspapers that has headlines pertaining to what's actually happening in the rest of the world of the movie.
I really like that.
By the way, that a musician is supposed to be Jerry Garcia, I read at some point during the week.
So I spent way too much time looking into this because I always thought it was Jerry Garcia, and it's Jerry Garcia playing guitar over whatever that guy's doing. And I still thought it was him because it looks like he's missing the middle finger, right? And I hate the Grateful Dead, so like I just got to get that out there too. It's some other actor, Joe Bellan or Bellan, Bellan. I don't know. I never recognized him from anything else, but I could have sworn it was Jerry Garcia up until like last week. And I even listened to the director commentary, and he says, that's Jerry Garcia playing over this part.
Okay, I thought YouTube lied to me. The YouTube video said that was Jerry Garcia.
I am not 100% sure on it, but everything that I've read makes me now believe that it is not.
Like, we don't just trust YouTube ever.
Nor should you trust me.
Ever. You should
That is fair.
TikTok.
I trust TikTok less. I don't trust either. I'm not looking to get my news out of either of them. Like some
There's
people
Better
are.
not be.
There are a couple other important cameos, though. If
Oh, yeah, there are.
Ken knows what I'm talking about. The one part where Matthew and Elizabeth are driving through the city, and the guy runs in front of the car and is like, "Help! Help! They're coming!" That's Kevin McCarthy, not the asshole Republican, but the actor Kevin McCarthy. He is Miles Bennell from the 1956 version of the movie. He's the main character in that.
That's cool.
Mm-hmm.
My
And,
personal headcanon is that he's been running this entire time.
that's what they wanted people to think, actually. Yeah. And it's funny, when they were filming the movie, there was like some naked homeless person there who saw Kevin McCarthy.
Yeah, I came
was like,
across
"Are
this too.
What's that?
I came across this too. I'm so sorry.
Oh, yeah, yeah.
I can't stop laughing.
And he was like, "Are you guys remaking Invasion of the Body Snatchers?" And they're like, "Yeah." And he just goes, "The first one was better."
The movie's not even finished yet, and he's already.
I don't know if I can agree with that.
No, I think this one's the best one for sure.
I know the ending of the first one, unfortunately, because the YouTube spoiled it video that I was talking about, because it was comparing this one and the first one. Which
that ending was forced upon them by the studio to make it more of a happy ending.
Yeah,
fucking studios.
Right.
To be fair, like, this movie works because it's so fucking bleak.
Yes.
And it's very possible. Like, that idea that an alien life form comes to our planet and just takes over people and replaces what they look like, that's not that far-fetched, other than the alien part, you know?
Why not?
Well, one, the idea... Put on my political hat here. For one, this movie was what they were trying to go for.
I take back my question.
Too late. Is that you could, no matter what you identified with, Democrat or Republican, you could see it as being either or of those groups trying to control what you think.
Well, it's not even just that. It's Democrat or Republican. You had to worry about the Russians.
Yes.
Even during this time. Like, during the time of the
yeah.
original one, during the time of this, it was all Cold War paranoia.
Good point.
And this movie, I think, captures that environment a lot more than the original one did, because this movie is fucking claustrophobic. Oh my God.
Yes.
Like, everything about this movie, like, you feel like they're watching you watching the movie.
The way it's
That's
filmed is so good.
That's kind of why I like a lot of older horror movies, because they're kind of irrational fears that are irrational, that make sense, kind of like this and They Live and a bunch of other like way older horror movies like have the idea of like dolls coming to life, but a lot of horror movies just don't have that good old fashioned like irrational fear anymore. That's why I think the Swedish are doing better than movies, all those goddamn A24 movies.
I think it's also like working in some of the like post hippie, post like popular drug generation stuff into there too, because you got to think like in that period of the country, you have so many people that have been waiting for their government to be cleaned up in certain ways, and it's not being. So you have the incredibly traumatic things that happen to these people could also be put into other places in history and be commentary on that as well. I found a few people going for that angle online. I don't know if it holds up as well as some other arguments, but I think there's a little bit there that you could apply to that.
That's fair. I mean, one thing I was watching, somebody made a comment to the Mike McCarthy era, too. Wasn't Mike McCarthy from Our Favorite State?
Oh, fucking Wisconsin screwing it up for the world again. But no, the whole thing of, the socialism and the communists, they have that whole thing, they can look just like you. And that's really where, the concern of this movie comes from. And I'm sure it played really well back then, but I don't think you really need that present in the environment to see how well this movie plays out, even currently.
Because, I didn't think of that going into this movie. I didn't think, even though, I consider myself a history buff. I know the Cold War. I know that's what's going on at this time. But none of that even crossed my mind as I was watching this movie. I was just enjoying it.
I kind of agree with you too, Mike, because I don't think they go out of their way to give you a lot of signposts, alluding to that stuff. It seems kind of neutral in a sense. This is a small matter that is going on throughout the country, but you're only seeing it in this little small area and how it's affecting these particular people.
And then you find, because at first you think it's a very contained situation, but as the movie progresses, then you figure out that it's a lot bigger than you think. Also, Joe, remember that priest that creeped you out at the beginning of the movie on the swing?
Yeah.
Did you look up what actor that is?
Yep.
No.
Robert Duvall.
What?
Yes.
He did it for free, but they gave him a jacket, I guess.
Yeah.
I just want to be in the movie, I guess.
How did you know the creep priest me out? Did I post that?
Yeah.
Yes.
Oh, okay.
I did too. I was uncomfortable by it.
The director of this in the commentary, he refers to him as the priest pod. He's the first pod person.
The first one, yeah.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay.
Cool.
I asked Mike, don't you see him staring at the people? He's like, no, I didn't see that.
No, because I wasn't prepared for what the movie was going for. Now, if we would have rewatched it, I would have caught that.
I was focused on the priest because he said he was creepy in the playground, and yes, he is.
Like, there's nothing wrong with an adult using the swings on a playground. I do it all the time whenever I'm out walking and I pass the playground. I'll always stop and swing on the swings. It's fun.
I do not, ever. And I never will now that I'm an adult.
I do once in a great while.
Can't we just have, like, a large playground for adults? We can just swing and teeter-totter and do that horrible...
It's called the gym.
That horrible merry-go-round where I'm pretty sure I broke my hand.
We do. It's called a bar.
I like that better.
Yes, it's funnier.
Or you can just go to the playground at night when the kids are asleep.
It's not creepy at all.
That feels even worse.
But you are allowed to be drunk.
You risk the chance of running along ghost children. You know children die at the playground.
I do know children are at the playground.
Yeah, definitely some of the older stuff, but definitely.
I'm pretty sure we all know that children are at the playground.
So I have a couple quick questions with this movie that I didn't have answered. So how do they get infected?
Exposure to the little pod thing. Little pod with the flower.
And they have to be asleep.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
the pod just goes into you, and then while you're asleep, it takes your memories. And then you crumple up into a little pile of ash that they sweep up and throw you in the garbage truck.
Is that what that was?
Yes, they're old bodies. I didn't know that either. Like, I was thinking that, like, you would just...
like whole pod.
Yeah, you'd be talking to a guy, and then you'd be like, why is something that looks exactly like you in the basement, buddy? Like, that's what I was expecting before we watched this movie.
No, you are easily cleaned up. You just desiccate into this little pile of ash and get out your dust buster.
And was it like, let's see how many times we can put this garbage truck, like...
They put it everywhere.
Like, where's Waldo?
And every time you see the characters, you see that dust in the garbage can, in garbages, like, all over the place. And it doesn't really click till midway through the movie. Like, wait a second.
I was trying to figure out what it was, though, remember?
Yeah, you were complaining about it.
The stuff they keep putting in the garbage.
You know, it's funny that you asked that because I was looking for something else about the movie. I think I was trying to figure out for sure the Jerry Garcia thing, but it was like, all the things you didn't know about Invasion of the Body Snatchers. And one of the things they said was like, you probably wouldn't catch it in first viewing, but and they talked about the thing with where you turn into ash and everybody throws it in the garbage truck. And I was like, everybody would have caught that.
Right?
I never caught that.
I was wrong.
It's not obvious, and I think
I didn't realize it was.
I've seen it so many times since before I could remember practically. So to me, it's obvious, but I believe you that it's not.
But that's what makes this movie so good, is the fact that things are not thrown in your face.
Yep.
Like, you also don't know when people are changed exactly. Like, I mean, you can start to kind of tell with certain things. Like, as you watch the movie, you notice how everybody's staring at them, and especially if the movie's going farther later on, you know that there's been more, that a lot of people are converted, so, like, you can kind of start putting two and two together, but...
It's more like you're trying to find the people who aren't infected versus the people that are.
I think at the time that we're introduced in this movie, majority of people are already infected. By the time that we kind of, like, when this movie starts off, we have the one...
I don't know about that, but...
No, I'm not sure I agree with that.
Okay.
Sorry.
Or it happens very quickly.
Okay.
Or this movie takes place
quick,
longer than we think.
Yeah, it happens fast.
It happens fast.
The question I have... Sorry, go ahead.
I was just going to say, what is terrifying is I would love to show this to a younger person and be like, that's right, Billy. They did have health inspectors in the 70s, and they did their job.
That's great. It's a caper. No, it's not.
I would have, hell, if you were the chef and or manager, eat the fucking thing. Like, this is your restaurant, eat the fucking thing. Like, yep, it's a caper. I gotta go. I'll be right back.
The question I had, though, kind of going back to what Mike was asking, it wasn't clear to me. It still is not clear to me. When does Kibner become a pod person? Because I thought maybe he already was when he's introduced in the movie.
Me too.
But in the director commentary, he seems to imply, no, he's not. He actually... the director makes a comment about how if Kibner had been more sympathetic to Elizabeth, he might have avoided what happens to him, that he's going to turn into a pod person.
Yeah,
but
because you can tell during that bookstore scene that he's still got that human emotionality about him.
Yeah.
Like, I don't think he's turned at that point.
But I also, this is just a dumb theory of mine, but I feel like the longer you've been a pod person, the better you can fake being human. So I just assumed he was better at blending in with the humans. But
That's what I asked you.
Yeah,
didn't
I thought he was a pod person for a while longer because when Elizabeth is brought to him and you have the other couple where the woman's like, that is not my husband. He's like, just go home. You know, you'll realize I'm right. And so I thought he was, trying to like make this happen that she's going to get infected too.
exactly.
But I like it where he just like he makes a comment. He's like, oh, it's just people these days like just getting divorced and stuff like that, or like that's the idea around it. It's supposed to be that divorce was bad.
Yeah, like I'm pretty sure until like I feel like after that bookstore scene, but before they meet up again at the apartment at night when they find the Elizabeth pod.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
I'm pretty sure in between there is when he gets taken.
It has to be, because doesn't he, after that scene, he goes and he meets in the car with...
Yeah, with Jeffrey.
I gotta say how well they did with that scene with Jeffrey. In the beginning, you see Jeffrey being loving and all excited for the sport, for the basketball game. Then in the next scene you see him when they really want to show you he's different. I sold my ticket, or I gave away my ticket. That's what it was.
Oh, I didn't.
I'm busy.
That's great.
Immediate recognition that he was somebody different.
Yeah, and I like how they do that.
But that's because you know this character. Like the woman at the cleaners, you really don't know her character. How do we know she's not has RBF all day?
I do like how she's creepy looking, and the guy's like, "There's something wrong. That's not my wife." And then when they come back later, he's like, everything's fine."
Mike, are you doing the accent?
I don't know.
For legal purposes, no, he's not doing that.
Yeah, for legal purposes, he's not doing the accent. We know what he's talking about.
Never met this man, Internet.
It wasn't even on purpose, by the way.
No, I was just joking.
No, you're not wrong. I was, but it wasn't even on purpose. It just kind of happened.
That's what he does. He imitates it unintentionally.
Been doing this for too long.
Cut all this out.
I'm not going to.
No,
Well, okay, the solution to this is that you have to let someone of another race imitate you. We gotta even it
You
out.
are welcome to.
Apparently, it'd be easy for me with my strong accent.
Minnesotan doesn't count as another race.
Fine. What a
Depends who you ask. When you go down south, we're still Yankees. When I was in Georgia, I remember that my grandmother being like, "You guys are Yankees up there." I'm like, "What the fuck?"
Go Minnesota.
So you never know. But yes, Ken's right. I did want to watch this movie a second time, but I ran out of time to do it. But
we barely finished the first time.
that's why. And I had to watch this on Tubi, so that was also the part of the issue.
God, that makes this thing like 3 hours.
It wasn't that bad, but it was.
It took a while.
I should have bought it on Amazon, but I was like, I can watch it on Tubi. I haven't used Tubi much or at all.
So
I should have bought it.
If you listen to the previous podcast, and I hope she's listening to this, Phoebe made fun of me for paying for YouTube. So I got to watch this movie for free. Why? Because I pay for YouTube.
It's free because you pay.
Wait, how much is that? Mike, we can get YouTube.
$15 a month.
We're not paying for YouTube.
They have lots of good movies.
Yeah, we have two different accounts.
Oh, but damn, it is free.
You pay for YouTube also?
I pay for YouTube Music, and my YouTube is thrown in for free.
Nice.
Okay. How'd you watch this, Ken?
I purchased this a while ago.
Okay.
Because I know what I'm about, and I know I will watch this again.
Oh,
so we know where he's putting it.
I will watch this again too, actually. Which is not. This is weird for me. I think Bill was right. Damn it. I forget what episode. I don't know if that episode even aired. I remember Bill making a comment. He's like, "Mike, you do like horror movies." And I'm like, "No," and I'm like,
certain horror movies.
I have a style I like.
He doesn't like the blood and gore, so
no, and I don't like.
The violent nature is.
No, I'm not watching that crap. No, thank you. Oh,
but the kills were amazing.
Yeah, that makes me not want to watch it. Like I like stuff like this where the movie is legitimately scary, but there's really not a whole lot of violence. A few scenes. There's not a lot of gore, but it's very suspenseful, and it keeps you glued to it.
When we do get the gore, it's
little bit.
Very pointed. It feels very shocking, like because we don't have an overload of it throughout the film.
Late Night with the Devil.
I do want to watch that, Ashley. You guys talked a lot about it.
That's a pretty good one.
Yeah, it's not too violent.
That's what I like in horror movies. I like the more psychological stuff, and I think also the way that this was shot, like because of Ken and Bill. Thank you, Ken. I do really appreciate movies more. like I appreciate the way that they filmed this movie and that the camera just like feels like it's running behind them to add that suspense. They're always being watched, and everything they do is so well done with that. Like the scene when the guy gets hit by a car, the one from the first movie, and like the cop, everyone's just kind of standing there, like, and everybody's staring at him, and it feels normal until you realize that not a single person is, nobody's showing emotion, nobody's upset. They're just staring, and I'm like, oh, this isn't good. I like the idea of how fast they move. Like, you know, when you see the idea that these creatures are just taking over the entire city very, very quickly. I think that's really good. You know, I can see where people like the idea of like where they make the comment. They're like, "There's no war, there's no emotion. We're just you have a better existence." But at the same time, like you're dead.
It sounds fun. It all sounds fun in games until you lose your humanity.
Well, I think you lose everything. You're just a copy of yourself because you're in the trash can.
But here's the thing: how can you be upset if you're not going to know?
Exactly.
You would be upset that you're being killed.
Would you? You go to sleep.
They really don't know.
Okay, you'd be upset before you're killed that you're going to be killed. How about that?
I don't know, man. It's 2024, the year of our Lord, and I don't know, man. Sometimes
I would see a nice way to be killed. I'm saying.
Yeah, just in your sleep.
Sometimes I'm just like, man, might not be so bad.
I'm gonna die in my sleep by default with the way I sleep. Let me tell you, I'm just a hard sleeper. You know, sometimes you can't get me up. Like pod people would get me real easy. You know, I'd wake up the next day and be like, "Yep, nothing wrong.
Let's get this one first."
Just emotionless, just doing the day now. That's fine. I wouldn't even think about it."
So I wonder how many people in 1978 who had plants next to their bed moved them after this movie.
The one thing I love about watching this movie is I'd actually turn it off for the first like 30 minutes. Besides the fact that I was getting tired, me and my husband would not stop talking about how great the 70s were. You know, the 70s where everyone jazzercised and they were all skinny because of cocaine.
Neither of you were alive in the 70s.
Wait, was Jazzercise in the 70s? Isn't that the 80s?
No,
That was when it started in the 70s.
Did it? Seriously?
Yeah.
Okay.
I don't know. I had never Jazzercised.
Ken would know. He might have been there.
I jazzercised.
Did you really?
Yeah.
Memories.
I was
Did
the
you like wear little spandex shorts?
I do.
Hey, this was
the
an X-Men
only
97,
guy in the entire class, so it was a pretty good time for Ken.
Did you watch what's his name? Richard Simmons videos?
I did actually sweat to the oldies.
Oh no, Ken.
We were watching Young Sheldon. That's where that came from, by the way.
Is it?
It was in Young Sheldon.
Okay, sure. I mean, I believe you.
Remember Georgie wanted to make an exercise video because of Richard
But
Simmons?
that's not why. I don't think that's why I
Okay,
referenced.
that's the last time we've seen it, and like.
I probably wouldn't have snapped his name as fast
Oh,
if I
okay.
hadn't seen it.
So, Invasion of the Body Snatcher. But
No, we're talking about Richard Simmons now and Jazzercise.
I was gonna say, Ken, you got jazzercise? I had to do hip hop keto because I'm a '90s kid and I like Power Rangers.
No. I had jazzercise in a church basement.
Ugh.
okay.
All I can do is picture this. It's great.
All right.
Tell me more, Ken.
Also, when I was in junior high school, cocaine. So I got the whole experience, even though I was born in the 80s.
Some kids got fruit roll-ups. I got a bag of cocaine. Good luck.
Hey, to give you more energy.
Don't share it at school, honey.
I mean, I'm assuming you'd be a lot more hyper.
I didn't get it from my parents. Jesus Christ.
I didn't say you got it from your parents. I just said you fucking ate cocaine at school.
You
as a
got
kid.
it from your parents' friend. That's where you got it from.
I learned it from watching them.
I learned it from you, Dad.
I learned it from your friends, Dad.
That's
So,
my
this movie is
dad.
what, an hour and a half or 2 hours long?
It's
Ah.
hours.
Yeah.
1 minute. 1 minute of credits at the end, by the way.
Yeah, that was quick.
Man.
That's how you do it.
Glorious.
That's how you do credit.
No,
Or
they
did
can't.
That's just
Or did
that's
they just
exception.
have not that much crew? Is that why?
Oh, they
I
didn't
think
have
it's
that much crew.
Probably a lot of extras because I do know, and because of YouTube, there's one scene when you see a guy get lit on fire. He wasn't supposed to get lit on fire.
Yep. He wasn't listening. He was trying to get on camera.
Oh.
He got a camera, all right.
Yep.
In the scene when he's blowing up the plant and he's running from the factory, there's a guy that you see run by a door and fire shoots out at him. Yeah, that wasn't scripted. So
That's scary.
he got hurt.
Oops.
He did it again.
He ran into the fire, but he got on camera. He'll forever be on camera. Hey, and for me, I thought that was just part of the movie until I watched the YouTube when I went, oh, that's not part of the movie.
I should have did this. I should have watched YouTube stuff. I was too lazy this time. Sorry, guys.
I did it for us. It's okay. But I think another thing is, like, I really appreciated how much this movie is very slow to begin with, and it's very suspenseful. It shows you people watching, and then when it gets to its point, when it hits that point when they start running, it does not let up, and it's so good.
Pretty great. I agree.
Like, I was surprised how much I enjoyed this movie. We had to watch this over the course of 2 nights because I was tired. But, like, I wanted to finish it. I didn't really want to go to bed, but I'm like, I got work tomorrow. I need to go to bed.
It's not good for me to split things up because then I forget everything I watched.
We didn't have a choice. We were busy. But, like, I don't always do that with horror movies. Like, I was surprised. Like, I just was so into this. Even, like, the one gory part when Donald Sutherland falls asleep in the yard and you see the pod purse start to come out of the pod.
Giving birth, the flowers giving
I mean, that's what it looks like. And I didn't catch this, but he destroys himself, but he can't bring himself to kill Elizabeth, the Elizabeth pod, which I don't know how I feel about them, like him being like, I love you, Elizabeth. I'm just like,
It's kind of like the love escalated quickly, I guess.
I mean, they are in a traumatic situation.
Yeah, it's the end of the world. It's the ending of Speed. Everybody knows this.
You're the only person that hasn't transformed yet.
But I think he already had feelings for her because they worked together for years.
Absolutely.
Oh, yeah. I think it's going along with what you were saying, Mike, about it kind of escalating and they're on the run. When she finally does turn and like her human body just like crumples in his arms and the face that he makes of just sheer horror, that is a great moment.
Yes, it is.
And then, of course, her pod body hops right up and is like, oh, it's totally fine. You should go to sleep. This is
I really like that, where she tells him to go to sleep. I didn't put 2 and 2 together that they were already infected, and that's what they were trying to, like, as soon as you fall asleep, you're going to turn. But at that point, it's like, you can't stay awake forever.
No.
Watch me.
Not even with 5
You can
people.
try.
Like, I mean, I thought they were just trying to stay awake because they were trying to escape. And they're like, when we fall asleep, they're going to catch us. I didn't realize that the reason they're trying to stay awake is because the moment we fall asleep, we're fucked. At that point, it's like, either get a gun or go to sleep. Your choice. Like, either way, the outcome is still the same. Your choice. Like, you're not going, there's no way out of this. Even if you got on the boat, you're still fucked.
Well, and that's another thing that the movie does really well is that, at first it seems like we could get out of this, like we can get help. And then it's like, well, we can't get help, but we can get out of here. It's like, well, we can't get out of here. We're pretty much totally fucked.
Yeah, but you don't realize they're totally fucked till very near the end of the movie.
Yes, exactly. Yeah.
Which is why it's exception.
Yeah, like I didn't realize that's why she turned. I thought she just turned because, like, when she fell asleep, she was just infected, so she finally just turned. I didn't realize they're both infected at that point.
I don't know if people are infected. I think it's just there's pods everywhere. And so as soon as you fall asleep, a pod starts making you. And I think it happened a little bit fast, if I'm being honest, with her. Yeah, because
Well, I
he
think she
wasn't on
was
that long, but
Already infected earlier when she was sleeping.
Yeah,
but again, I don't know if it's an infection. I think it's something that's copying you. It's one organism.
Those little tendrils attach
Yeah.
themselves to you and they start copying.
But I think once they start, you're already fucked.
I mean, you're already fucked anyway. So
Yeah.
I'm not gonna
Just
argue
like
that point
when
with you.
Leonard Nimoy injects you with a sedative, he doesn't have a pot right next to him and saying, all right, here you go. Like, it isn't something like
Did
that.
they? I thought they did have pods in that room. I might be confusing it with the older version, but that does happen exactly like that.
I'm pretty sure they did have the pods in that room, though.
Okay, maybe they did, but he didn't like it. They didn't make it obvious. Like, here you go, we're gonna put you to sleep, and
It's not like, well, time for bed. Here's your pod. I think they had them around because they were all moving them outside of the Department of Health where they're all holed up.
They do have a plethora of pods.
Oh, they're just giving them out.
And everyone's like running or walking with one.
walking.
Walk.
They don't run unless they're chasing, which I think is also well done.
Yep.
And when they figure out that all they have, like the way to escape, it just don't show emotion.
That's hard though.
Hey, a serial killer would do great. So
That was what you're talking about. They don't run unless they're chasing somebody. I also kind of was thinking, well, they don't chase very hard, but also at that point, it's like, well, we're gonna get them eventually. It's like, how hard am I gonna expend myself here? They're gonna get caught at this point.
That's a good point.
Yeah.
I don't think they chase to capture. I think they chase to draw attention because there's enough of them out there.
Mm-hmm.
They don't need to run after them, because if they just start running and, hey, look at this, that's why they point and scream, somebody up ahead of them is going to get them.
And the more they get you running, the more tired you're going to be. So
I kind of wonder how much constitution these pod bodies have. You know,
they're maxed.
Yeah, I mean, I kind of don't think they have like an extreme lifespan or like a lot of strength compared to a normal human being as well. And I think that plays into the fact that they don't spend a lot of energy running as well. Like, there's no need for them to when there's so many.
Yeah.
I think in the original, it might have been in this, but I think in the original, one of the pod people was just like, you know, we have a lifespan of like 5 years. And then the human that he's talking to, I'm pretty sure it was the old one, because I think it was McCarthy, yeah. And he's like, he gets pretty pissed because like 5 years, Jesus.
So what simply keeps people from eating their own pod people? Like, if I were to wake up and find a me that's a copy of me, I would simply just eat him.
You're a hive mind. So you don't have a choice. Like, you're not, the people that wake up in the pods aren't the person anymore.
Well, the other thing I think is really cool that I'm really like interested they did was whenever the main character smashes the version of himself, you can tell that it's also very much a goopy person inside. So even though they only last like 5 years, they're pretty much exact copies of us.
I didn't like their blood. It looked like tomato soup.
Well,
Probably
it's the 70s. It's the 70s. It's fine.
I thought it was just because they were plants, so that's why it looked different.
Blood always looks
There you go.
in the 70s, so.
You see Jeff Goldblum bleed.
His nose.
That's it.
For like 30 seconds.
Yeah, but that's it. I mean, I thought there was a purpose to that. Like, it's going to be, they don't bleed or something. Like, that's how you tell that they're a pod person.
Well, because
the movie doesn't go that route.
Pod person bleeds out of his nose at the same time, and he notices it later. So that's just so they make the connection.
Both times I saw that head get busted open were still shocking for me. Like, there's really not like an extreme amount of blood through the film, and for them to just like bust open someone's head and you just see the blood drip out. Oh,
it's shocking.
Yeah, it's effective for a 1970s movie, especially.
Yeah.
Well, it's shocking because the movie hasn't had. Yes, I mean, like when you watch certain movies, like if you're watching Chucky or something like that, you're expecting it because I'm assuming the movie tells you sooner. Bad example. I haven't seen this movie. But like this movie, like you're by the time you first see that, you're already 45 hours into the movie, and you're
45 hours into the movie.
45 minutes or an hour, and you're not expecting
45 hours of movie time.
It's a lot of movies. A lot of movie.
The real life Titanic.
It's even longer than that, actually. I think I wrote it down. It's an hour and 11 minutes, I think, because I remember they had the sound that they were making. It sounded like an ultrasound, and then it turns out it is from an ultrasound.
Yeah.
That's what I thought it was. An ultrasound like a baby's heartbeat.
It was.
Oh, look at me go.
The sound designer's wife was pregnant. I don't know if she was pregnant at the time or if it was pre-recorded from some other, from like years before this. But that's what that ultrasound sound is from.
It works well.
Have kids.
It adds to the fear and the tension of what's happening. And I didn't understand why at first he's not waking up as this thing is being born next to him. I didn't realize that the plant, the white fuzz, was pretty much putting him into a coma because it was starting to copy him.
I love that detail. And there's even a part when Matthew calls Elizabeth and he's trying to wake her up and she can't wake up. And I'm just like, man, I've been that tired before. I know what that's like.
That's me every damn day.
Again, I did not realize that the reason he's trying to keep her up is because the moment you fall asleep, you're fucked. Like, I did not put two and two together until after the movie, I think. Because
what do you watched it one time, so we'll give you a pass.
So did the other woman that's with him, Jeff Goldblum's wife, did she never go to sleep then?
Apparently not. Well, so this is the other thing about my understanding that there needs to be a pod near you. You know, if she could, like, I don't know, climb up in a tree house or something where I guess there's a tree, probably pods everywhere. If there's probably a place that she could find where there's not a pod around where she could sleep, or maybe she has someone else that they're working in a team with. Somebody, they take 2-hour shifts of sleeping or something, and if something's looking off, you wake that person up. So that was that's my own thinking on it, but I don't know for sure.
That's
she looked well rested.
Yeah, she didn't look like you've been up for 3 days because you're not going to be hiding emotion after you've been up for 3 days. You're going to be too busy crying.
You just take a bunch of those caffeine pills and it overwrites the sedative.
No, I don't believe it. I've taken caffeine pills. They ain't that great.
Hey, that's what the Beatles did back in the day, and they turned out fine.
Yeah, caffeine pills. Mm-hmm. They were doing cocaine. Eric Clapton song. I butchered it.
I know it is.
It's a good thing you butchered. You might have gotten copyright struck for it.
Parody.
Yeah, but yeah, it is the 70s. They have a bunch of cocaine, or you could say like we're just saying you could sleep somewhere where there's no plants, which means, I mean, technically, as long as you know to like board up your house, maybe even seal the windows and seal underneath the door, you'd probably be fine in your own bed for a while.
Yeah, as long as your significant other who was turned to a pod person didn't come home.
Like, check for all foreign plants. Make sure there aren't any Audrey 2s.
Just burn every plant. Oh, another little touch of this movie that I did not catch while watching this is earlier in the movie you do see plant life, and at the very end of the movie, the trees are all dead that they're walking by.
Yes.
Because it's supposed to be the idea that everything is being killed by these aliens.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
Sure, gotta use it up.
Takes a lot of resources to do something like that.
In the book, the aliens actually just imitate everything. Like, they imitate the plant life, they imitate animals, and all that stuff. And so, like, some of them imitate like piles of garbage on accident.
That makes sense, though. Like, if you don't have the understanding, you just see things, so you're just blending in with the environment. And the creepiest moment of this entire movie is still when because at one point you see a dog and the homeless guy sleeping, and then did it get hit, or did they hit the pod? Don't they?
Yeah, he steps on the pod, just steps on it a little bit, and I guess that was enough to fuck it up.
Mm-hmm.
And that's what gets them in trouble, because they're trying to sneak by, and Elizabeth sees the dog man, or the dog with the man's face, and screams.
Dogman.
Can't keep it together. Oh.
I like that. That freaked me out, too. I was not expecting that. I can't believe that has never been spoiled for me. The amount that I live on the internet, I have never seen that image before.
Why are there no memes about that?
I'll tell you why. Because people don't actually watch the movie.
Oh, it just has that one scene where he's
I didn't even know that was, I didn't know what that was. And even though I knew that, I've seen that meme of him pointing and him making the sound, I did not put two and two together that's what it was. Until the end of the movie went, oh yeah, the meme! I don't know. I didn't expect the movie to go there. Because usually movies have, even horror movies, a lot of times will have somewhat of a happy ending.
You have your final, girl.
Not this. She's dead. The moment after that happened, she's dead.
She's like the last. She really is she's the final person.
Yeah, final person. There we go.
You know what?
She's fucked.
I think she was overreacting to the dog. The dog came up with a content, happy look on its face. It wasn't hurting her. It wasn't trying to hurt her. It wants to get petted, you know? It's a calm little plant person. Yeah. If she'd just been cool about it and not freaked out over an old man face that she's seen before, she knows that guy. You know, it's not that big of a deal.
I mean, it would have went better for them, but I thought that was a great way to have them get shocked into screaming to continue the movie to where it wanted to go. I mean, because it's so unexpected. You know, yes, there's the foreshadowing when he steps on the pod when he's walking by it, but I didn't expect this to happen.
Yeah, there's no way you would have put that together on the first watch.
No, and this is a movie that I really wish I would have watched twice. Like, I can see myself someday putting this was randomly on Netflix, and I was just like, I got editing to do. I would put this on easily.
October, it probably will be.
I can't watch it that soon, but someday I would definitely watch this again.
My second watch through was I couldn't not focus on the way people look at each other, because once you've gotten over your first watch, you begin to hyper focus on the background and everything that's happening. And the way the garbage men look at our main characters when you get glimpses of them, it's just abnormal. And you really understand the paranoia of it all much, much better. And it's really apparent. All the stuff with Jeffrey, with the husband, and the way he's hiding behind a wall, listening to her.
Oh yeah.
It's so creepy, but it doesn't feel creepy necessarily the first time, I think, because people are so emotionless. Because when he's hiding behind that wall, he's not sweat bullets or something like that. He's just listening. He's patient. He's careful, but he's not expressing a lot of emotion. I think that subdues people the first time they go through this.
All those scenes in their house were shot really well. Like that we're talking about. And then like there's the part where Matthew's trying to get Elizabeth out and he's trying to avoid Jeffrey, right? And it's almost completely dark in the house, but you see just a little bit of light like under the stairs and stuff, just the way that was lit. And I just love to watch that scene, not just for the tension, but just because it's just beautifully done.
And that really brings up a great point about this movie is it's phenomenally shot.
Yes.
Like it is dark, but the reason it's dark is because most of it's taking place at nighttime. And like you don't get that kind of confidence in shadows anymore.
No. It's always like you got to use a blue filter now to pretend it's night.
Yeah. And it's moonlight. No, fuck off. There's shadows, man.
It's done really well here.
So well. Like we just talked not that long ago about Dirty Harry, directed by Don Siegel, aka the guy who was driving the cab in this movie.
Thank you.
Oh,
Trying to work that in.
Don Siegel also was the director of the original Invasion of the Body Snatchers.
I love that though.
And he's damn near blind without his glasses, which he's not wearing in the scene, and he's actually driving the taxi. And Donald Sutherland and Brooke Adams are actually freaking out in the car.
that's awesome. Why is he not wearing his glasses?
The character didn't call for glasses.
Glasses
I'm
are
blind.
cool, man.
These glasses couldn't imagine getting in front of a car without my glasses.
You did once?
I'm a blind man. Like my glasses are with me at all times.
They were
Forget
with
glasses.
you, but they
Why are
weren't
you
on your
driving?
I don't remember what she's talking about, so
face. Okay, that's fine. He doesn't pay attention half the time.
I pay a lot of attention to driving. I'm a safe driver. I've only been in 2 accidents in my life, and neither were my fault. So hey.
Okay.
And how does that make you feel, Tiffany?
The safe driver? Oh, it wasn't my fault.
No, it wasn't her. It was idiots. Literally an idiot in a big giant white truck that decided to crash into my rental car. The last time it happened.
The one time we didn't get rental insurance.
God damn it.
Right?
Trust me, I got it every time since.
Time. I usually don't ask him, and I'm like, "You want rental insurance?" Nah, I have my own. Okay, dokie.
Well, I mean, I did, so
Hey.
it's fine, but still.
You know what? Big Rental was teaching you a lesson. You understand? Okay, they hired that person to crash your car. They wanted to make sure you're going to be getting insurance from now on. Let me tell you.
Hey, guess what? I will. It was a terrifying theory. How about that?
You were fine. We were all.
We were, yes, but I was not happy about it. So, all right, but so I mean, hey, I felt it when that guy was driving around the broken windshield all movie. I'm like, that's not okay.
Oh, that is such
Oh.
a good detail, though.
That made me feel so close to that person. I can't tell you how many times in my life I've driven around with buddies and they got their broken windshield and we're all just cool about it because we're completely broke and have nobody to replace that.
Okay, that's fair. See, I've never driven like that.
You haven't lived, Michael. You haven't lived.
Live your life.
I think I do a good job living my life, but
Well, maybe you're wrong.
that's fair too.
I do like there is part of the movie where he keeps calling people, and at first he's like, I know this guy, I know the deputy director and things like that, and they're like, oh, we'll look into it, but it's really weird. And then there's like 2 more scenes later where he's talking to people and they're like, nope, it's okay, everything's fine. I think like the final moment is where he's like, I think after they find the bodies, he's like, hello, I had to talk to the police, and it's like, don't worry, we know where you are, Mr. Ben. We'll get there right now. And he's like, how do you know my name? And then he tries calling other people. And the operator's like, where can I put you through, Mr. Ben? And it's like, oh no, they've all taken over.
It's a great part. That's one of my top scenes there.
Yeah, that is a great scene. I really enjoyed it.
This movie is about intelligent people who aren't intelligent enough, who are too blinded by their own emotions to really be able to grasp what's happening around them a lot of the time. It's an advantage the pod people have in that they're emotionless and they have a completely driven goal, whereas all the human beings are starting to flip out with all this weird stuff happening around them, and they're making illogical choices. Like, if Donald Sutherland and his friends were smarter, they would have already gotten out of town. They would have gotten off of the country. Like,
But I don't
but
think that would have helped. I
Yeah,
feel
I
like
don't.
in this
I don't
world,
think
you're fucked.
you win. You don't win here.
Sure, I kind of agree, but at the same time, like if they were really as smart as they believed they were, because I think part of what they're trying to take down in this film is like very stuck up liberal types, stuck up middle class types who work kind of middling jobs, but they have like real high self importance, like. Like the way Donald Sutherland acts about about being part of the health department. This guy has an ego about his job that he's really not that high up in the government. Like he doesn't represent that like ultimate pillar of government like necessity.
I don't know. I'm not even. I don't know if this movie's really trying to take anybody down, though. Like, I don't know. I think if there's a moral to this, at the end of the day, no matter how smart or where you are in life, something like this happens, you're still fucked.
I was going to say the moral is shut up and go to sleep.
Yeah.
Proper fuck.
Can do.
As opposed to the sequel that would tell everybody to wake up. Everybody knows the sequel is They Live.
Oh, I love that.
Wow.
It's really not the sequel, but it absolutely plays like it could be.
It's very similar. Like this, The Thing, They Live, they all have similar themes to them. And certainly, early on in each of the movies, there's a lot of similarity where you're not sure who is who, who's an alien, who's not.
I think that's really good though that you're in that world of I don't know what's going on.
Yeah, and unlike The Thing, you can pretty much figure out who's an alien when.
Yeah.
But
there's signs. This movie, it's just no emotion.
And that could just be, mental health issues.
Yeah.
What do you think Donald Sutherland's copy pod person was cutting out of the newspaper? I thought that part was pretty weird.
Wait,
I think it was just
not him?
No, because he walks out and then he screams at Veronica Cartwright, and that's the end of the movie, right?
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
I think he's just going about what he would normally be doing. Like, why are any of them working in the lab, right? I mean, it's just like, well, this is the information I absorbed from this person, so I guess this is what I do.
To be fair, I think it is supposed to kind of key you into that, like, he might still be a people, and he's...
Oh, absolutely. Yeah.
Yeah. But the main thing that I love from the whole ending from the movie, because I looked it up on IMDb, because I wanted to see if there's anything interesting about it, like a bunch of the stuff you guys said. They did actually trick the actress into believing that there was a good ending, which was supposed to be her calling his name, and they just kind of nod each other and the movie ends. So her reaction to her screaming when he's screaming isn't like authentic reaction to that.
Or Veronica Cartwright, because I don't know if it was immediately after this, but after this she did Alien, in which they did the same thing to her, where they didn't tell any of the actors in that scene except for Ian Holm or whoever the guy is who has the chest burster coming out. John Hurd, whatever.
That's the same fucking actress.
That's the same actress who gets sprayed in the face with blood and is screaming.
Yeah.
That's
Lambert.
fucking hilarious.
She's got to be traumatized.
She's the one that goes, "Oh God."
Yes. That was a great impersonation, by the way.
Yeah, they did it on purpose.
Yeah.
Yeah, that actress, Veronica Cartwright, is sister to Angela Cartwright, who was Penny in Lost in Space.
Oh,
What the hell?
did not know that.
Yeah, there's a lot of fun connections with her. Go through the Wikipedia sometime. It's a
I
good
saw
read.
Veronica Cartwright did something in the Lost in Space remake, actually.
Oh,
That would then make sense. I could be wrong on that, though.
she's also in The Right Stuff and Witches of Eastwick.
Oh, she's worked.
Yeah,
Mhm.
those are good movies.
Well, Right Stuff was also directed by Philip Kaufman.
Yep.
Okay.
We haven't talked about the director at all like we normally do.
No, we haven't. And I've been waiting to because I love Philip Kaufman's work. Like, legitimately love a lot of his stuff. He wrote The Outlaw Josie Wales.
That's not what I was thinking of.
Yeah, I wanted to mention this. Oh God, and he got fired from it as director. But wow, what a credit.
Oh, boy. Yeah. There was a whole love triangle thing on Josie Wales, and he got fired from it. And he helped George Lucas do the story for Raiders of the Lost Ark.
That's what I thought you were going to say.
Oh.
Yeah, like
That's one of my favorites, too.
he directed one of my favorite movies about sadomasochistic writers, Quills, starring Jeffrey Rush and Kate Winslet. I also did a great movie called Henry and June, which was one of the first American pictures to get the NC-17 rating.
Really?
Yeah.
I'm thinking of something different.
Like, Homeboy's done a lot.
I don't think I've seen any of. No, I saw not. Maybe I saw Rising Sun. Is that based on a Michael Crichton? Yep. Okay, I've seen that. That's it.
Rising Sun's great too.
He also did The Wanderer, a film I've only seen once on cable, but I remember very fondly. I'm very fond of Italian gangster, teen gangster movies in the early 60s.
So like Philip Kaufman's done some good stuff over the years, and he's absolutely like somebody whose work you can watch and just be like, yeah, he's good.
I mean, I was thinking that just throughout this movie, like that it was very good content. It was very well produced. Because this wouldn't have worked if it didn't have someone with an artistic vision that was making it happen.
Oh no.
And I'm so happy this wasn't like that. You didn't have idiot in suit getting involved and fucking with everything.
It also helps that you got Michael Chapman, who's working as the director of photography on this movie. He was cinematographer on Raging Bull, on the 1993 movie The Fugitive, Taxi Driver. Like, he's done a lot of great stuff. Also, Rising Sun.
Okay.
So, like, he's worked with Kaufman again after this. He was the director of photography on Scrooged. Great movie. You have a lot of talent coming together, basically, to make this, which I really do believe is one of the movies from the 70s. Like, if you're going to pull movies from the 70s to be emblematic of that decade, this is one, I think.
I can agree with that. I mean, I have not watched enough movies from the 70s, especially probably whatever is considered like must watches like this and Dirty Harry I'd put on that list. I'm so happy to have this in my brain and on the podcast now. Like, that makes me happy if this was something that deserved it. I'm just surprised this was never spoiled. I don't know. I mean, I as I said before, I live on the internet. Like, I'm always seeing things, and I will have some stuff spoiled. Some I'll just kind of like, I'll forget, or I won't put two and two together. But even the meme, like, it just looks like a dumb meme. It doesn't, I never knew the context.
I feel like this is a movie that most people take for granted that most people have seen, so they don't really see a need to spoil it. Maybe. I don't know.
I've never seen the 93 version either. I didn't even know that was...
It's worth watching. It's not
that's a hoot.
It's pretty cool.
Is that the Ferrera one?
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay.
I've always said to myself, always good to watch a remake, never watch the third remake.
I am curious about the one
second
with...
remake. The third remake is The Invasion, and that one is terrible.
Yeah.
That's actually a bad movie?
I didn't like it. They change it up too much. It's they're not pods. It's like a virus. Like you catch it like a cold, and so like your body's still the same. And then in the end, they create a vaccine for it, and everybody goes back to normal, and it sucks.
Oh,
No,
that's lame.
Spoiler alert.
That destroys the paranoia of this whole concept. Wow.
I was gonna rewatch it for this, but then like I apparently don't have it, which makes sense because I didn't like it. And then I was gonna have to pay for it, and I was like, nah, I'm not gonna pay for it and watch it.
I was gonna watch it, but then remember it sucked, so I just didn't really care.
And apparently, The Faculty is also a version of this based on the book.
I like the Faculty. I'll stick up for that.
I like The Faculty too. I'll back you
Doesn't
up
it have
on
like
that.
a weird
It is a happy
alien?
ending, but whatever.
Isn't there like a weird little alien in that movie that they're chasing after?
Yeah,
That
like
Thing type of stuff?
It's also like a hive mind. Like there's a queen, so it's a little bit different, but it draws heavily from this and the book.
kinda. Like, I'm not comfortable saying that, it's The Faculty's based on this. It's got some similar thematic elements, yes, but
The only reason why I said that, because on Wikipedia, it has it under the adaptation.
Right.
Also, it was the basis of the 1998 movie.
Right. I would not consider it a remake by any means. No.
Okay. And then there's the 2019 movie Assimilate, which is a loose and unofficial adaptation of the novel, Body Snatchers.
I did watch this. I watched it like 2 days ago just because I was like, it was free on YouTube. It is a lot more like this / the book. It's instead of pods, they're like little bugs, and then there's also some bugs, and you get bit by a big bug and it gets your DNA, and then that turns into like a pod that grows the person, right? And then once that person comes out, they grab a hold of you, and then like all these little bugs come and transfer the memories. It was kind of cool. If you'd never seen a Pod People movie before, I think you'd probably enjoy it more. But it was okay. I'd give it like a C plus.
My God, that sounds like a whole bunch of extra steps.
That doesn't sound very good. The reason why this movie worked so well for me too is that it is such a depressing ending, and yes, they are, and the fact that the body is being destroyed and you just throw it away, like that also makes it horrifying.
Yes, yes, exactly.
Because there's no I like the fact that it's a brand new body and that it's not just, oh, they have a cold. Like, it just sounds dumb.
All right, guys. So here's $1 million and immortality. Here's $1 million in a briefcase and immortality in his drink. You can get both, but here's a snail. You can't let the snail catch you. Go. That's basically what that made it sound like.
It follows.
Yeah, I was going to say that's basically just It Follows.
Yeah, but It Follows is like
Better.
could be
unsettling.
Could be unsettling. That could be your mom, and you'd be like, "Oh no, I'm gonna shoot myself."
Was his mom?
Yeah, at one point it was his mom. So,
Mom, what
I'm very confused. But I am interested.
Confused.
I am interested to see the other movies now. But I feel like it probably won't hold up very well.
So I will say one more thing about Assimilate. In its defense, it does not have a happy ending. And spoiler alert, if you don't want to hear this, plug your ears for a second. But
About the guy editing.
At the end, the twist is they're not the first town; it's the last town. And so, like, they think that they've escaped and won. It's like, nope, you're just you're like the last two people left now, and not for long. So that was all right.
Good twist.
Yeah, it was different than the other movies.
I'm definitely
still not
curious
going to watch it.
I'm definitely curious to see more of these, but I know it won't be what made this movie so interesting is just the filming. And I know that won't be there in anything else.
No.
Like the 90s is going to be a 90s movie. I'm watching the trailer right now. I can tell.
Yeah, and the CGI bugs look terrible. Some of the pod effects were pretty good, but it wasn't so bad that I turned it off. So,
anything else you guys want to say?
I think I've said enough.
Yeah, I think we covered everything of importance that I had to say.
Okay.
I think I'm good too. Yeah.
I want to say I'm glad people chose this movie out of my 4 Donald Sutherland poll. Like, I'm glad this won.
What were the other
ones?
Good question. I know one was. I don't remember what they are. I will tell you shortly, but I didn't. It was not my idea. It was Tiffany's idea. Tiffany went to bed, so you will not hear her voice again. By the way, people listening to this. So I am checking right now.
So while Mike's checking that real quick, the worst remake I've ever seen is so there's a Night of the Living Dead, and then there's a sequel. There's a remake of Night of the Living Dead, which is my favorite remake.
The 90s one?
Time. Yeah,
that's a good movie.
Yeah, no. But there's a third Night of the Living Dead remake that I saw it on Sci-Fi one day. I was like, oh, maybe this is the 90s one, but it was made in like 2008. And the ending is awful because the ending of the movie is the girl being like, hey, I know my husband's dead, but I like you. Get in the trunk of the car. And he's like, okay. And so he gets in the trunk of the car for a reason I can't remember. And she drives to get away from zombies. And when he gets out of the car, he has a tire iron through his chest, and she's like, no. And
I can't find this movie. Are you sure it's Night of the Living Dead?
I am 90% sure it's not a Living Dead, or I was 12 and I don't remember.
Okay.
Anyway, the other movies on the Donald Sutherland poll were A Time to Kill, Ordinary People, and Don't Look Now. All of those are great movies.
Don't Look Now has got an interesting ending for sure. I don't know if I've seen the other two.
Those are all great movies.
I've been wanting to bring up Don't Look Now for a minute, but I didn't know where the proper time to squeeze it in. That's a horror movie as well, and it's also like kind of low key about paranoia and people kind of losing their minds. It pairs really well with this one.
Oh, okay. I'm curious.
It also has a meme ending.
I'm trying to branch out and watch things that I wouldn't have watched normally. Like, I'm starting to do, well, one of my solutions to put random movies on the polls that I would never watch is I just have Ken make the polls. And then I have movies that I never would watch.
Smart thinking.
I mean, it's happened a couple times.
So we got Dirty Harry.
Yeah, I never would. I mean, I've seen it, but I never would have put it on this podcast. And then the one that's currently winning is The Voices, which I've never seen nor knew what it existed. So,
Well,
No.
I mean, if that's the case, do you feel lucky?
not really.
Do you? No.
I don't. I would have been like that guy. Like, nope, I don't. I'm good. No, I don't feel lucky. Because a bunch of my Funko Pops got knocked down because a fat black and white cat. Yeah, I'm talking to you, so I don't feel lucky. At one point, if you heard a loud bang that you probably won't hear, I was like, fucking A. And I turned around, all my nice, expensive Funko Pops were on the ground. At least the comic book and movie cover ones. I had them all piled up, and apparently my cat decided that he had to get down, not the way he came up. So he got down, by the way.
Have you thought about getting like a vinyl record collection over like an even more expensive Funko Pop collection?
No.
No, we just have to move them up. Hey, Mike, you like Funko Pops? You know what else they make a bunch of figurines of? Fucking those expensive Japanese figurines.
Oh, I've only ever wanted to buy one model, but then I thought, I have cats. And my cats are assholes.
That's not a model. It's the Figmas.
I know you're talking about, but I wanted to buy the Xenogear models of the gears, but they're not painted, and they would be broken.
You know, what people don't understand about Xenogears is that it was never actually about the gears.
I don't understand anything about Xenogears.
He doesn't either, by the way. So.
Okay.
I'm sorry, that's a Rick and Morty bit. I couldn't help myself.
Is it fucking really? God damn it.
The one thing they never say about the Gear Wars is that it was never really about the gears.
Yes.
Okay, I think we should go to Shelf Stacker Box. And I'm going to go first because I'm talking. I'm going to put this on the shelf. I really, really enjoyed this movie. I came into it not knowing really anything about it, which is always nice. Like, never seen it before. And I was blown away how much I was enjoying this film. It is not a Mike movie. I thought, but it was a Mike movie. It was a really good horror movie and thriller, and I had a great time. So going on the shelf, and I'm happy I finally watched it. And Joe?
I will also put this on the shelf, mainly because it's my favorite Resident Evil 4 reference. But that's not the point. The point is that it was really pretty good. And actually, I would love to keep watching it again, because I'm always a big fan of, like, seeing horror movies and there being small details you never noticed originally. And it's like, oh yeah, go back and watch this. You know, like Midsommar. So
I don't think I can watch that again.
Oh,
that was a tough watch. Okay, and Ken?
I'm absolutely going to put this one on the shelf. Surprising no one, of course. But this movie, I don't know. Something about it, it feels better every time I watch it. Can't explain why, but it does. It's a good feeling movie. I can appreciate more every time I watch it. It's shelf made.
All right. Rob?
I would put it on the shelf if I had a copy. You know, I wouldn't be ashamed of it. It'd be something to talk about when people come over. It's got a lot of layers to it. I don't know if I would consider it like a thing that is a defining piece of art in my head. I don't know if it has the same amount of iconography maybe other properties do, and then maybe that's probably hurting it a little bit for some people, you know, in generations coming out after it. But that's not something that hurts the film. Like, I think it works as not only horror, but it works as like paranoid thriller. Like it really has a good air to it before you get into the full-on horror element of it. And if you're a person that isn't normally into horror, that paranoia thriller part of it will create a good end. And then when it gets into actual horror, it's not bloody on the same level other horror films are, coming just a little bit after it up until now. Like it's still pretty tame, but it has things that are shocking in it, and it works better because it's a little tamer.
Okay. And Zach?
This is one of my all-time favorites. I've watched it dozens of times. I'll watch it dozens more. I'm really glad that Mike and Joe at this stage in life and in the year 2024, you guys could watch it for the first time and enjoy it so much. Kind of reaffirms my belief in the movie. Not only would I put it on the shelf, it is already on my shelf. It's going to stay there.
Will the other ones be there with it?
The original one is. I just dropped the picture in the chat, actually.
Oh, that's right next to it in the picture?
Oh, look, there's that other movie I need to make Mike watch, Jacob's Ladder.
Jacob's Ladder!
Oh, man.
Never seen that.
My God. Yeah, I want you to watch it.
Yeah, it's
I mean, I would go in blind. I I'm really doing that now with every movie I watch. I do my best to go in completely blind.
Mike.
That'd be a great one to do that with.
Mike, you know how I told you this was Resident Evil 4?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's Silent Hill 2. Like, legitimately.
Okay.
He isn't wrong. It's pretty much the same, yeah.
No lie.
There's a reason it's on my shelf.
Okay.
The remake is awful.
I'm not going to watch the remake. I'd watch that movie.
Watch it, yeah.
Maybe.
Oh my-
All right.
oh.
I mean, I have Spooktober planned unless I switch out something, but I can always add. I mean, I only do more, but okay, we'll see.
Oh god, I just had like a headache develop because you told me there was a Jacob's Ladder remake. Like what? Like
No, that's an aneurysm. You just had an aneurysm.
okay.
Yeah, it's not amazing.
Don't call the doctor. I don't have insurance.
It's on Netflix. It was like a really big thing, and then when it came out, no one gave a shit.
Ugh.
Okay, Jacob's Ladder wasn't the movie I was thinking it was.
Don't read anything about it. Go in blind.
No, I'm going to go in blind. I didn't look at it. I looked at the cat.
Oh, okay.
The movie I was thinking of has what the hell is that guy's name? Damn it, Tiffany would know. We met him, and I can't remember his name. He didn't talk to us long because a pretty girl walked by in a red dress and started talking to her.
What's he in?
That's the problem. I can't remember. Like, he was in Starship Troopers. He's one of the idiots in Starship Troopers. I need to find this out.
Oh, the guy with the big teeth?
Jake Busey.
Oh,
Busey.
yeah,
I met him
Jimmy.
once.
he was in Jacob's
Okay.
Ladder.
Oh, he is?
No. I'm saying I could see how you would think that.
No, because when we met him, he was in a certain movie. I'm trying to figure out what the movie was. That Tiff had made a comment to him about that she thought the movie was really good and didn't see where it was going. He's like, I didn't either.
Was it the Frighteners?
Frighteners?
No,
Think so?
it was some. I think it's a movie where he plays like a killer or something.
The Frighteners?
Was it the Frighteners?
Isn't the Frighteners the Michael J. Fox movie?
Yeah.
Where Jake Busey is a killer with his girlfriend, and then
Yeah.
they become spirits.
I mean that's kind of spoilery, but whatever.
Oops.
Great day.
30-year-old movie
Killer
people.
for, what's that, 93, 95?
No,
Is
I
it-
don't think it was that. He's been in a lot of fucking movies.
Yeah,
Is
yeah.
it Point Break?
No, it's Jake Busey, or that's Gary Busey.
Oh.
That's his dad.
Also great. Point Break's a great movie, by the
I
way.
can't remember. I just remember that she made that comment to him, and then he was also high as fuck when we met him. So
Are you sure? Because he's pretty weird. Could have been.
I'm pretty. I mean, there were maybe just. I don't know, but it was odd. It was. I have met a lot of people, a lot of celebrities at this point. This was an odd one.
That's what
Is it-
happens when you mess with
Identity.
devil's lettuce.
Oh yeah.
Identity's good.
I hated that movie just because like the twist was so dumb.
Yeah,
I
that
love
was
that
the movie where
movie.
she made a comment to him, and that's what I thought Jacob's Ladder was, and it's not. So, but yeah, I don't know much. Yeah, this was a random conversation when we went and met him, and I got a picture with him.
No, the fun thing about Identity is that Pruitt Taylor Vance is in Identity and Jacob's Ladder. So
That's
All right,
crazy.
maybe we'll do Jacob's Ladder. I'll work
Sweet.
it in,
I'm in on that one. Dibs.
or I'll put it on a poll and let Patreon decide. We'll see. Oh yeah. I think let's go to plugs. And Rob, where can people find you at?
People can find me on Twitter, Discord. Thinking about trying to get an Instagram going. I don't like Instagram much though. But look me up. I got some new podcast episodes coming out. I just had an episode come out today where I appeared on Sonic Cinema with Brian Scuttle, and we talked about 2 Lupin specials. I also did the Lupin special before those over Fujiko Mind's Lie. Please, Conversations with Robbie Sherman. Happy to hear from you.
And Zach.
You can find me on Absolutely the Best Podcast, a work in progress. My co-host and I are currently ranking the MCU movies. We just did Spider-Man Homecoming. We got Thor Ragnarok done and ready to drop, and I'm starting on Black Panther right now. I think I can give you the link tree. Probably would be best to put that in the notes. And I put shorts up on YouTube so you can get a little taste of what you're in for.
Smart.
Check us out.
I never do that. So, I should. And Ken.
I occasionally do film writing over at my blog site, canadasanity.wordpress.com. Also going to be coming out with my own podcast before the end of the year. So
nice.
keep an eye out for that.
Nice,
Keep an
man.
ear out for it.
Right. I think that's right. And if you enjoyed this episode, there's over 650 other episodes of Games My Mom Found. You can find everything we do on Podbean. We do have a Discord. If you want to join us, chat with us, please. We're always happy to have more people join us. And if you want to support the show, we do a Patreon. Little dog, you vote in our Patreon poll. You will see a link in the show notes for that. And please, I'll give a shout out to my awesome intro and outro courtesy of Elena and Hell Has Fury. Follow her on TikTok and Instagram. And check out A Gamer Looks at 40 with Bill Tucker. And please follow us on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, Threads, YouTube, audio only. We can find all those things. I think that's everything I need to say. So we will see you guys all next time. Bye, everybody.
So long.
Sleep well.